Runner in scoring position.
Oh, man.
At least it's not bases loaded. It's just a man on second. Maybe we can get him in.
Pitch. Roman drives one high and deep and gone! Roman reigns supreme in Gotham. That is a hit with runners in scoring position. A signature moment for Anthony. And it is 6-3 Red Sox.
Lean back. I mean, 370, right? But here at Yankee Stadium, looked like first pitch, little breaking ball up in the zone. And a lot of times a very passive Roman Anthony, right? Takes a pitch. He does not wait. Did he lean back on this?
All hail the Roman Empire! Release the Kraken! Welcome into Boston has entered the chat here on a Friday, August 22nd. I call it Deuce Deuce. Here inside the Salem 5 Studios, Travis Thomas with the one and only Kasey Hudson. How are you?
How'd you combine the Empire and a mythical creature in one? But you know what?
It's
it could make
sense
sense eventually.
I know.
And we could get there eventually. I love the look in Roman Anthony's
Did you see
eyes when that fate was sealed for Game 1.
Wow.
What a fire on this guy.
Didn't it not feel like a heavyweight fight watching that game? By the way, that game was so long. I am tired.
It wasn't a sexy game.
tired.
It was a win. It kept you on the edge of your seat. You were entertained, that's for sure.
I
But
know.
there are things to kind of unpack in the midst of the magic that Roman Anthony produced.
This is the longest 9-inning games that the Red Sox have played all season. 3 hours, 25 minutes. I am tired. I know I come in with the energy and all that, but please just know internally I'm asleep right now. But outwardly, how can I not be awake after seeing that? So, of course, we'll get into that. Roman Anthony just doing Roman Anthony things. Yankees lose. I love that anytime that happens.
We asked for.
We'll also talk about the Patriots, who did not have, there was a moment, Case, yesterday. I didn't even tell you because I didn't want to get judged.
Okay.
There was a moment. You already knew I bet Red Sox money line against the Yankees. Cha-ching.
That's a thing.
But I thought about, Patriots are playing a New York team tonight, and the Giants.
You didn't.
Maybe I can do a little parlay,
You didn't.
partay with both of the local teams on the money line. I didn't do it because it was preseason. Not that I'm too good to bet on preseason.
Your spidey senses kicked in because I was like, you weren't buying yourself coffee this morning. Couldn't afford it.
I bet on preseason before, so I'm not too good for that. I ain't acting like that. I'm not acting like that. I bet on worse, okay? But it was the last preseason game. No one's playing. I'm not betting on this.
Yeah.
Thank God, because the Patriots got the hell beat out of them. But it doesn't matter because of what the Red Sox did, and it's the last preseason game, and none of the stars played
The only thing
any.
that added up last night was that it was an audition for some of these guys to either potentially be on the bubble, to maybe stick around New England, or to find out their value to ship them off. So that's about that.
So we'll get into the good, bad, and the ugly with that game later on. Remember, you can catch a full hour of us 8 a.m. on NESN, 9 a.m. right here on NESN Nation. We always tell you to call us, 617-790-0928. Leave us a voicemail, state your name and your claim, keep it clean. It's a family program, and we'll get you right on the show. But let's start with the Sox. Game 1 in New York. You and I talked about this yesterday, and I didn't have much confidence coming into that game because the Yankees were just slapping the hell out of the ball.
Right.
I mean, they were breaking home run records. We talked about that. Hottest hitting team in baseball going into last night. I didn't know how the starting pitching would hold up with Giolito. He was okay.
Yeah, it was shakes.
The bullpen was on fire. I didn't know if you were going to get run support. We weren't seeing any of that. So I went into that game probably with low expectations, and then for it to go the way it did. They forced the Yankees to play Red Sox baseball.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't sexy. They mucked it up. It was a grimy, gritty game. They shut all those runs down. Look, they won. This is a formula kind of with this Red Sox team. Like, starting pitching, just be serviceable. Bullpen, carry us. Run support, check. Everything else, you're going to see errors. You're going to see runners left in scoring position. It's not a perfect science here, Case. But this team, I think they drag you into deep water and they just drowned you out.
Funny that you went there. I feel like this just really speaks to what you said yesterday, a very scrappy team.
Yeah.
So this is what we saw. We saw a scrappy win because the reality here is 3 for 19 with runners in scoring position. They still have to get better with kind of capitalizing on those opportunities, especially once you start talking about postseason or a deeper postseason run.
Yeah.
But the other aspect of this is just the errors on both sides. I mean, you have Ceddanne Rafaela that capitalized off of the Yankees' 3rd error of the night. So what they did very well in this scrappy, gritty, just good rivalry win is they were able to respond. They were able to capitalize on the mistakes that the Yankees were making, and they were able to go toe-to-toe in that aspect, and I think that's what helped them climb out on top. And who better to do it than Roman Anthony, who we have said on this very show has that clutch gear like no other.
Yeah.
And they speak to the maturity of it, but it's just his ability to be so composed, have that confidence, and execute time and time again, series by series.
They're almost, you know, we're football peeps, right? I'm trying to think of an analogy because in football, scrappy teams play really tough defense, they run the ball, and they don't turn the ball over.
In hockey terms, you are great with forechecking, and
Yes.
you pull them into the fight, just like we said about baseball.
But this team does turn the puck or the ball over. That's the errors.
That's the errors.
That's runners in scoring position, just leaving them stranded like nobody's business. I had a stat earlier, I'll find it. But this team, I guess, maybe it's the Chiefs, because the Chiefs play really good defense. They run the ball with Pacheco, right? But Mahomes will turn it over. But then you'll get that splash play that breaks your back late in the game, right? Because it's always close, and they win. And you're like, how did they win? That's the Red Sox. Like, they hang in these games. You're left feeling like, well, it was, boy, they did this, they did that, they made this mistake, but they come away with the win.
Right.
Roman Anthony, that's why he's so important to this team, because he has been the Mahomes, him and Bregman, where the splash plays come from.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid, 3 RBI on the night. That home run that we opened the show with, I don't know if it's landed yet. First time in Yankee Stadium. Like, there's nothing that can rattle him, Kasey. It's unbelievable to be that young and never get rattled.
Yeah, and I mean, you see kind of each of his teammates talking about the fact that, like, it's so hard to identify what's making him special, but he continues to show up and be so special. Something else that I really like, too, is that him and Bregman are very similar in the sense of their stoic nature.
Yeah, calm.
And, yeah, they're calm, but their meticulous nature to how they approach the game and just how much they are so consistent with learning. And just to think that he gets to kind of continue to learn that from a Bregman, even though Bregman probably wouldn't take full credit for it because everyone calls Roman an old soul, but it just shows you like what kind of star power these two combined can have, and they played a big foothold in them being able to pull off the opening game against the Yankees.
Let's hear from them both. We'll start with Roman Anthony on his performance. First time in Yankee Stadium, and boy, did he make a statement.
How much have you been waiting to get here and make your mark on this rivalry from their ballpark?
A lot. It's exciting to be here. It's exciting to, I got to play them at home my first week, and now that I'm settled in and through that first week, this time around felt a little bit more calm, a little bit more controlled, and I just felt better. It was exciting.
I'm sure you've watched a lot of games in the stadium. What was it like playing in the stadium?
It was awesome. Quite the atmosphere, especially for us. And we know the rivalry, and it was exciting.
You guys obviously know the runners in scoring position, struggled with the last 2 games to be able to let your team breathe there. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. Just for me going up there, trying to get something early that I can, do some damage on and not miss it and drive some runs in, and got a great pitch to hit and didn't miss it.
How would you describe the emotion that yielded to the bat flip?
It just happened. I don't even know. I don't usually do that, but it just happened. So I really don't know.
Cora said it was the first time he saw that from you. So you're not usually much of a bat flip kind of guy.
Yeah, no, not really. Not really ever, but it happened. So.
How significant is it taking game 1 of this big 4-game series?
Any win is huge at this point in the season. So, to come in here and take game 1, we'll look to just build off that and come in here tomorrow and try to handle business again.
Okay, do you want a good stat or a bad stat? I can give you either one.
Start with good. We just came off of Roman Anthony talking so composed.
6-1 against the Yankees this season, the Red Sox.
Yes, love this.
6-1. That is beautiful. Okay, bad stat. Sox, 6 for 47 with runners in scoring position in their last 4 games.
What was that first number you said?
6 for 47 with runners in scoring position in their last 4. Not great.
Yeah.
But again, this team figures out a way to win.
Yeah.
They've done it all year. Even when they lose, early in the season, we were going nuts. These one-run losses. It was a mistake here or there. You could see the vision. Like, if they can just clean this up. This team, I'm telling you, they drag you into deep water and they get it done. Here's Alex Bregman now. Hey, he's a part of Red Sox Yankees, so he talks about that. And then, just like us, he can't stop talking about the Roman Empire either. Here's Bregman.
What was it like to play one?
It was cool, obviously, growing up, watching Yankees, Red Sox, the rivalry, and being able to finally play in it. It was tough not being able to play the first 2 times this year, but to be here and get a win, I felt like battled all day long, 2 good teams going at it, and was happy to come out on top.
What do you think of Roman's home run?
That was awesome. Obviously, a huge moment for us. Just to add on insurance there in that moment was huge, and it's really cool to see.
You talked about how much you guys have made life easier for him. You know, what kind of piece of advice have you given him this year? Have you had to pull him aside at times? Like, what ways have you tried to help him?
To be honest, he hasn't. He's probably the most mature 21-year-old in baseball-wise I've ever been around in my life. I'm trying to find out what he does wrong. Honestly, we don't know if he has any vices or anything. He just does everything the right way, and the moment's never too big for him. He knows who he is. He knows what he does well, and he sticks to that, and he executes.
You're on deck when he's hitting that homer. Were you surprised by the bat flip?
No, I seen him hit one like 500 feet earlier, and I saw a good bat flip on that one too. So he's great, man.
I love this. I mean, this team is so exciting. So Brian Bayo tonight against Max Fried. Hey, Bayo, though, does have a winning record against the Yankees in his career. He always pitches well against them.
Yeah.
I feel really good they took game 1. Now I'm more optimistic, although cautiously, but I'm more optimistic with the series as a whole now.
Yeah, we have to see how both teams perform with less mistakes and, of course, those errors, because Yankees will be trying to reel that in this evening. But Bregman said execute, and somebody else who deserves their flowers when it comes to execution, Nate Lowe.
Yeah.
You got to give him massive flowers. I mean, of course, he shook things up in that really bad game to watch a few days ago, picking up that home run, trying to give them a pulse and a chance. More importantly, doubles top of the 7th last night for the 4-3 lead for the Red Sox. He is somebody that's adding momentum in these moments and hopefully can help make that stat go up a little bit when it comes to capitalizing with runners in scoring position, but something that gives me a little bit of hope. This is somebody that loves to load up in that RBI column on the road specifically. This is where we have asked for more consistency out of the Red Sox. 47 RBIs on the road when he is away, 27 or 25 at home. Yeah. So this is someone who can help bring in those momentum swings and then pull his own team into the fight, his new team, who has shown up for quite well thus far.
I also think, too, and you and I have talked about after this Yankee series, how the schedule kind of softens up a bit for the Red Sox. But sort of bringing the two together here, I think if you can win this series, or at the very least split, right? Let's just say you feel good leaving the Bronx, right? And you come back home. I do think, like, this team now, or they don't come back home, they go to Baltimore, then Skeens and the Pirates come here, Guardians,
which they have a case to make in Baltimore.
A's, like these teams, you can beat all these teams, Kasey, all of them. So I would think coming off of a confident, whatever it looks like, Yankee series, whether you win the series or you're in a split, and then going into the softest part of your schedule down the stretch here, it's got to feel good because you do in the season, Case, you go to Toronto and then you're home against the Tigers. So those last 6 games could quite literally, and I would think would, have a lot to do with playoff postseason sort of seeding in the American League. So the Red Sox, to use another football sense, kind of control their own destiny in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you can tell that they're unsatisfied, and we talked about how dangerous a desperate team is, but an unsatisfied team can be equally as dangerous. So they're going to need and want a statement win versus Baltimore after what took place here. That left a bad taste in their mouth. And then after the stretch on that, I think that they have the capability. Like I said, there's some players that are going to help them kind of put the formula of consistency better together as they move through these next couple series.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, look, the schedule doesn't mean jack shnikes if you don't beat up on these teams. Good point. O's, Pirates, all these teams you should beat. Diamondbacks. You got to get it done, though. But assuming they do, it can certainly help them going into the postseason, having some momentum and certainly some confidence. As we said, in the American League, whoever goes in hot is going to be the team to watch out for because it is wide open. When we come back, More Boston has entered the chat as we explore what's trending in the world of sports. It's round. Next, right here on Boston has entered the chat. Roll with us.
Continue to keep you honest.
Welcome back into Boston has entered the chat. Time now to get into what's trending in the world of sports. And we start with the password. Justin Garcia has been called up to the bigs. And I can't be more excited for it. Oh.
I realized how weak it was. I knew it was going to be weak, and then I still went for it. I apologize.
It was actually good.
It was good. I'll try it again.
You want to do it again? We'll do it right now. I'll do it. Oh, see, it was fine.
I rely on you.
Hey, he's up. Here's the moment when he found out, though. These are always great. Take a look.
bien.
Sí, tú.
Tranquilo. Aquí.
Sí. How you feel?
Feel good.
Physically good?
Good.
First base stuff has been okay? Comfortable?
Yeah.
You're good.
Feel good.
Have you ever been to Yankee Stadium?
Not yet.
Do you want to go?
Of course.
Today?
Yeah.
You go play in the big leagues? What do you think? You're going to the big leagues. You're going to leave tonight and go to Yankee Stadium tonight.
Yeah, baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Case, I can't lie. I cannot wait for this kid, it may be tonight, to go yard in Yankee Stadium. Also, in that clip, just the fact he's wearing a shirt with his own likeness, with his own nickname, the password, the kid's confidence is on 10, not 9, 10.
Maybe even 11 or 12. Because something else that I picked up on is when he's like, hey, have you ever been to Yankee Stadium? And he goes, not yet. Like in that moment, would you have thought to say not yet? Or you just would have been like, no, and then like waited for him to continue? I love the not yet. You can tell that he has just been waiting and anticipating and knowing that his moment was coming. I mean, we've been talking about him for a couple months now in terms of just like how he shook up AAA immediately and his numbers when he gets there through 66 games. This is such a magical moment. This is the things that we love to see, especially in this industry when guys' dreams are actually unfolding in front of them. And boy, will Red Sox fans lose it for anything that he has the opportunity to do.
Well, they'll do the, that's
much better than I did, yeah.
I like what you did. Look.
Mine was very Elliot Wolf, or what's his name?
No, it wasn't. You had some bass in yours. Elliot Wolf ain't give us no bass. Look, the bad news here, Wilyer Abreu obviously is more hurt than we think. I mean, clearly, you're calling this kid up. So that's bad news. But out of all these kids we've heard, Christian Campbell, Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, this kid, like all of them have showed up and shown out. So let's see if the password is going to do that as well. I have to imagine, because check, all the rest of them has. I think he will. And what better time than against the Yankees?
Yeah.
Right?
And honestly, one of the first things that I thought of when this became news yesterday is I'm like, you just said on air, Travis, that this team might be a year ahead of its prime potential. And this could speak to it. Like, at least you'll get quality experience in the stretch of this season. Now we're getting ready to be so close, if not already in September baseball. Right. So postseason feels there.
It's here.
Yeah. And then the opportunity to get that experience and know what this team is capable of, like, that's going to be really impressive to see what shakes out in the next season or two.
You know how I know the postseason is here? I walked outside this morning in a short sleeve shirt. And I went, it's cold.
It took you this morning to realize that?
I know.
I went to the driving range yesterday wearing normal golf clothes, and then I almost froze to death because no one should have been on the golf range or course with no pants on or no jacket on. And then I had a jean jacket on top of it. Like I don't own athleisure wear.
I'll walk right back in the house.
That's when I knew. We are in prime.
I said, y'all getting long sleeves today. It's crisp in the air. Okay, in more news, Jalen Polk's out for the season with a shoulder injury. That's terrible. This wide receiving core already isn't good. Now you're losing this kid who's still trying to figure it all out.
Don't be so dramatic.
It is dramatic.
There's talent in this wide receiving room.
No, it ain't. But the real story here, Mike Vrabel went a little Tony Soprano on us when this news got out. Apparently, we weren't supposed to know. Take a listen to Mike Vrabel here.
Mike, there was a report today that Jalen Polk will have to have season-ending shoulder surgery. Can you add anything to that?
No. I don't know, other than I'd like to find out where some of these come from. You know, some of these rats around here, so we'll figure that out.
Wow.
I love it. This is what I have said that I love about this man from day one.
Yep.
Direct, blunt, and a little bit of mafioso. Absolutely. And you know the best part about it? My kneecaps are intact. Your kneecaps are intact. We will figure out the rat for you, Braves, because whoever's walking around New England with no kneecaps today, we know that they ran into you after you made that statement.
I promise you, I am staying on his good side. I will
never
cross Mike Vrabel.
He warned everyone. He warned everyone. Day one. He was nice in the first media. Like, here I am, welcome me back to New England, thank you so much. But after that, it has been, we're a no-nonsense media discussion group, whatever the case may be.
Now, here's where I disagree with you, because the Polk injury does provide some clarity on the wide receiver.
Clarify, where do you disagree with me?
The wide receivers, Kasey.
Oh my gosh, we're back to this?
Yes.
Let's
all right,
talk about it.
Polk's,
I have my I told you sign ready.
I know. I'm looking at the depth chart as we speak. That's why I want to go here.
All right.
So you say this is a talented group.
I say there is talent in the room.
Okay, well, you tell me. Because, all right, so Polk's out for the season, so we're taking him out. I don't think Javon Baker's making this.
No.
I'm taking him out.
He was already talking about being okay with like a special teams position if
Kendrick Bourne's banged up now, he feels like you're either going to cut him or he's pup or something. You're moving him. So right now, this is why I say I think we have clarity. I'm counting 6 wide receivers that I think is going to make this team. Stephon Diggs, Pop Douglas, the rookie Kyle Williams, of course. Matt Collins, even though I don't like him and his feet stink, you need him because he's a big body. Boutte, and then I think Efton Chisholm. At this point, that's 6 guys.
So where is your reservation? Because Stephon Diggs has shown you not only is he ready to come back from injury and make an impact, he is making great strides to build a relationship with his quarterback. And C.J. Stroud spoke to the fact of how well he sees the field, how well he explains to quarterbacks how to be better and more crisp. I don't know. I think being mentally strong and physically strong makes you a weapon in itself.
I'll give you that.
Then you go to Pop Douglas. You were high on him a couple weeks ago. Okay, that's
I like Pop.
Then like Kyle Williams.
I don't know enough.
But a good training camp. So when you
and he has looked good.
Holding up to the hype. Yeah. But more importantly, who's really held up to the hype here? Efton Chisholm III.
Really?
So what are you mad about?
I mean, that's not a great wide receiving core. It's not. They need, look, if Stephon Diggs is my number 2 wide receiver and I have a Terry McLaurin, call me crazy, all of a sudden, I love this wide receiving. That's what's missing. I don't know if there's
We need to hear from fans. We just need to hear from fans. What would you rate this wide receiver room from a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
617-790-0928. I'm going up 5. At best. Ceiling. That's me. All right, Jerry Jones is at it again. Let's just get to the clip. Jerry Jones was on Michael Irvin's podcast, bumping his gums yet again, talking out the side of his neck. Take a listen about Michael Parsons.
And we should have him to win. We can have him 3 years like it is right now. We can have him 3 years without having a disagreement. He should though, in my mind, because he'd be the highest guaranteed player ever on defense was what he's been offered.
And I'll let it go at that. I'll let it go at that. I'll drop this one thing on you because this is.
When we wanted to send the details to the agent told us to stick it up our.
Oh, wait. Now, see, I was
just so you're clear.
Wait. What do you mean? So wait. What do you mean? Because people are going to ask.
Mike and I talked. Mike and I talked, and then we were going to send it over to the agent. And we had our agreements on term, amount, guarantees, everything. We were going to send it over to the agent. And the agent said, don't bother because we've got all that to negotiate.
You know what, Case? Michael Irvin tried to shoot him some bail there and be like, oh, we'll drop it. And Jerry's like, no. Now, when he said 3 years, highest paid non-quarterback, T.J. Watt just signed 5 minutes ago. 3 years, 123, 108 guaranteed.
Right.
Jerry offered him probably 3 years, 125. You know what I mean? And 110 guaranteed. A little bit over T.J. Watt. Micah said, no, I'm not signing that. I want more. That's the issue here. That's what it is. Translation, Patriots, trade for Micah, pay him all the money in the world.
Basically. Well, and then the other big factor here, too, is to keep trying to throw everything at the agent. Like, they're the ones who know the value across the board and how to properly represent. I mean, things do get crazy, but whatever. Get out of Dallas.
Yeah.
And I think he's ready. His social media says that he is ready to get out of Dallas.
Yeah, and come to New England. That's where you go. Jon Lyons of WEEI next, right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Come on, Michael. We know you watch. Come on, man. It's beautiful here.
Well, I mean, we put a lot into this, into the players and getting to know them, and you know the roster is going to change, and that's part of the business that we're in, and we always, you know, want to make those transactions as respectful as possible, and but that's part of the game, and that's kind of the life we've chosen. So there'll be some conversations that we'll have with players over the next few days. And we will keep those obviously very respectful, and you know, hopefully some of those guys can either end up back on our team or on somebody else's.
It's the hard part of the business. Somebody ain't gonna make it. Vrabel was nice there with how he said it, but basically there's gonna be changes made means you're not making the team. How's that sound? Good luck in your future, though. Right back here on Boston Has Entered the Chat, Jon Lyons. I call him WEEI's prodigal son. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back.
Happy to be back.
A lot of clap-ups today.
I mean, you hear Vrabel say that. Yeah. We'll get into some bubble guys here. But look, Kasey and I left off in the last segment talking about the wide receivers. I said I think the Jalen Polk injury, if anything, provided some clarity. What do you see? We're going to get into all the bubble guys, but let's go wide receiver. Who's getting voted off this island for wide receivers?
Yeah, you bring up Jalen Polk. I think that injury, in a way, saved his spot on the team because being there at training camp, and you were there for some of the practices I know, and me being down there, I just don't think he did enough to surpass any of those guys on the depth chart. And then you look at Javon Baker. He's done some special teams work, but you already have Brendan Schooler as kind of a designated special teams player. Do you want another designated punt gunner type guy? Like, I don't think so. And Kendrick Bourne, love the guy, enjoyed everything he did here, but he's been hurt for a couple weeks now. He could maybe be a PUP or an IR candidate. I don't know if I see him make it, because you look at the top of this receiver group, Diggs is obviously going to be there.
Pop.
Like Mac Hollins, Pop, Booty, Chisholm, Kyle Williams. Like, that's 6 guys right there. And are you going to keep more than 6 when you have concerns on your offensive line, when you have some concerns about your safety depth? Like, are you going to keep more than 6 receivers?
I think you go 6.
I don't see them keep more than 6.
And you make a good case for all the guys. Like, obviously, Bourne dealing with injuries, Polk getting injured, but Baker has not done enough. Here's my thing. Before Case goes, I have to go off on a tangent here, because I've been saying Elliott Wolf, in my opinion, is not being held accountable for this. Like, I get the Drake May draft. Everyone's giving him credit for that. But, like, duh, take Drake May. Like, if anything, he didn't overthink and take J.J. McCarthy, right? But I'm not going to give you a cookie for taking the obvious guy, right? I look at Javon Baker, and I look at Jalen Polk. Those are wasted draft picks. I'm sorry. And I understand Jalen Polk, because Kasey has checked me on this, and she's right. He could come back, and he could contribute, and he could help your team. I'm not writing off his future, okay? But what I've seen so far, it's been a waste. Javon Baker's about to get cut. Those are wasted draft picks you could have used on an offensive lineman or better receivers who were on the board when these guys were on the board.
Right.
No one's holding Elliott Wolf accountable in town except moi. Why?
And I would add to it, Caden Wallace and Layden Robinson both could not make the team, who were also drafted in that draft as well. And I think Caden Wallace is a borderline guy. Like, I could see him making it, but as your 8th or 9th offensive lineman.
And is it because of the position of this offensive line right now, or the state of this offensive line?
I think it's a great point.
That's right. Why?
I think that's a big part of it, right? Because if I'm sitting here talking about him as maybe your 8th or 9th guy in a better offensive line, maybe he doesn't make it.
He doesn't make it.
And look, I do give him credit for drafting May, because he still made the pick. But I think that pick was out of May or Daniels, whoever was there, they were just going to take.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't overthink.
Right. He still did it. So he didn't take Michael Penix or Bo Nix.
That's right.
And not that those guys are bad, but I think May's better. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, he trades out of the Ladd McConkey potential pick to get Polk, and then Baker, Wallace, all these guys. And you go back to their last few drafts. I mean, the biggest reason, Trav, and you know this, that Bill Belichick is in here still, is that they didn't draft well from 2017 to 2022.
Right.
They might have one guy left from 2022 at the end of this week, and that'd be Marcus Jones. Like, that's not good enough. And we're looking at maybe a similar thing with the 2024 draft. And I think, I don't know about you guys, you can feel good about 2025. Like, I think Will Campbell will be a good player. Travion Henderson's been really explosive. It feels like they have some pieces there. Kyle Williams has looked good. But if you're going to get out of where they've been, you got to have to stack a couple, 2, 3, 4 good drafts in a row.
That's right.
And they just haven't done that.
Wait, so then to Travis's point, I'm very curious. Say that everybody was healthy in the wide receiving room. Say we had an opportunity to see these guys at most of their potential throughout training camp. How do you think the 6 men would have shaken out coming out of the wide receiving room? Like, what do you think that would have looked like?
Honestly, Kasey, I don't think it'd be much different. I mean, maybe they would convince themselves to keep 7, and Kendrick Bourne would be the 7th because he played for McDaniels. He had 800 yards receiving in 2021. I feel like Josh does like working with him, but I just look, again, Diggs is a no-brainer lock. Matt Collins at 6'4", gives them something they don't have, and he's been good. Demario Douglas is a no-brainer lock. And I think Kayshon Boutte, to his credit, has probably shown more improvement than any other player over the past 6 months. So to me, he's there. Kyle Williams, I think, is a lock. He's got a great skill set. And I know he hasn't put a lot on the stat sheet, but we saw in that Washington game him getting open left and right, and the ball was underthrown. Or there was, penalties not called or whatever. But he's there. So then it really came down to Efton Chisholm, even before these injuries, he was out playing Polk, he was out playing Baker, and I think he was out playing Bourne. So, again, I think the only thing that might have changed if all these guys are healthy is maybe they could have talked themselves into keeping a guy like Bourne as a veteran 7th receiver.
And I love that this system is built for guys that have that undrafted path. I mean, not to continue to add to that conversation, but I feel like that wasn't overhyped from the beginning. And,
and even Demario Douglas, 6th-round pick, right?
That's right.
Big part of this.
Yeah.
Okay, can you talk to me like I'm a kindergartner about Keon White? Because I'm so confused with this. I don't understand. First of all, he plays last night, and I'm like, why is he playing? Then I'm seeing on Twitter, all over my timeline, that it's rumors he may get cut. I'm like, this kid's really talented. What am I missing? Is he in the doghouse with Vrabel? Like, what's going on? By the way, he plays last night, and he didn't do jack shnikes.
That's what I was going to say.
He had like 2 tackles.
Last night showed us maybe why
he should have dominated last night. He's playing against people that are bagging groceries. Go kill these guys. And he did not. What's going on with him?
Right. It's a lot different than Anthony Jennings, who played against Minnesota and had 3 sacks, right? Kind of a similar situation. Look, Keon White is 6'5", 285. He's strong. He's explosive. He's going to be part of this team. And I still think he can have a pretty good year. What I think it comes down to is Harold Landry's a pretty good player that has familiarity with Mike Vrabel, so he's going to start at one edge. And a guy who, and I just mentioned Kayshon Boutte and about him improving, a guy who might have had the best training camp of anyone is Kayvon Chaisson at the other edge. He's been really good. I think he's earned that spot. And Keon White has had, I think, some inconsistencies, like in that joint practice against Washington. I thought Laramie Tunsil got him a few times, but
it's Laramie Tunsil.
He got him back, too, in the 11-on-11. So, again, I think Keon White is still a part of this. And I think Anthony Jennings, a bubble guy, could also be part of that edge group as well. I think it's more about they like Harold Landry, and he's a pretty good player that has familiarity with Vrabel. And Chaisson has had a terrific training camp. And look, has Keon White gone out there and grabbed the position and gone after it as much as I would have liked to have seen? No. But I don't think he's been bad. I just think Chaisson's been better than him.
Other guys have outperformed.
Yeah, I think that's really been the story of it.
Okay.
And I mean, it fits the bill for what Vrabel said is going to matter when it comes to competing for spots out here. It doesn't matter your name or your contract. You got to be able to fit the bill. Somebody else that had some conversation around his name, especially last night, Peppers being in the mix, Jabril Peppers. What have you made of him so far?
Yeah, I think he's probably their top safety. And you saw him start last night, which might have raised some eyebrows. I think a lot of that was getting him snaps with Craig Woodson, because I think they're looking at their safety group is Peppers and Woodson are the 2 top guys. And don't forget Jalen Hawkins, who I know last year they win 4 games, everything's bad. He played 600 snaps at free safety last year. Like, he was out there a lot. And when I was at practice, their top 3 safeties were those 3 guys. And it feels like it's been that way in the preseason. And I know Marcus Epps is, fought for a roster spot. Kyle Duggar's still kind of hanging out there. And I think he'll maybe make the roster as that 4th safety. But I really think Peppers, Woodson, and Hawkins, that's their top 3 safeties. And then it comes down to, with Mike Vrabel, do you want to use 3 safeties a lot? Do you want to use 3 corners a lot with Marcus Jones there? And some of that might be matchups. It might be just his personal preference. But I thought, like last night, to me, I looked at that and I said, I think maybe they want to get Peppers and Woodson some snaps together just in game situations. You notice they pulled them pretty quickly. I think the second series or so they pulled them. But I think that's kind of how they envision their safety group.
Yeah, and I mean, we want to see as much versatility as possible. It's going to keep this team sharp. You mentioned Duggars, and from the post-game press conference, it sounds like he made more of a case to stay on this team because the past couple of days, it's like he could be on the chopping block, he can be in a trade of some sort, and now it feels like Vrabel may have seen enough of him getting acclimated in the system or getting better suited for the scheme. So do you think that he maybe secured himself a spot?
Yeah, I think if someone gives them a good trade offer, I could see him getting moved. But otherwise, yeah, I think he's going to stay around because I think, look, he struggled last year. He didn't play well and he was hurt. I still think there's a good enough player in there that's worthy of keeping around, at least to start the year. See if you can work him into situations.
I love his frame, too, especially for this system.
Yeah, and I wonder if they'll use him similar to a few years ago, the way the Patriots used Adrian Phillips. It was a safety that they brought down and almost played hybrid linebacker a lot, and I think that's where Kyle Duggar is at his best. Right? He's not going to be in the middle of the field covering passes, and not that it's just not really his game, but downhill against the run, I think that's where, or in the box, I think that's where he can be successful. And it is a thin linebacker group, the Patriots. I mean, we all like Robert Spillane. Beyond him, I mean, Ellis is, I think, more of a special teamer. Like, Gibbons has shown some, Tavai has shown some, but nobody's really jumped out at me besides Spillane.
Yeah.
So maybe they can find a way to work Duggar, kind of in a mix of that group. I do think, I would say he's on the bubble. Like, I would say that, but I think there's just too good of a football player in there to outright cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd have to eat some money, too.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
that they don't have it to eat, but you would have to, and you don't want to do that if
Take
you
it
don't
out
have
of the
to.
Lighthouse Fund.
Yeah,
Eat the money a little bit. Yeah.
I see what you did there. I like it. Any more bubble guys before I turn to gambling with you? Because that's what I'm all about.
Yeah, look, I think the other guy, and I mentioned his name, is Anthony Jennings. It's similar to Duggar. I think it's too good a player to just outright cut.
Yeah.
I know he's not maybe quite as good of a scheme fit as he used to be, but I still think against the run, he's good on the edge. The numbers don't pop out at you when you look at the stats last year, but when you watch him week to week, that's a good football player, and I'd like for them to find a way to keep him. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets cut or traded because, again, it's Landry, it's Chason, it's White. Those are clearly, I think, your top three. We'll see. And Braden Swinson, I think, is a guy they just drafted that, with some development, I think could be a good player.
Right.
I just think Jennings is, again, like Duggar, there's a good player in there, and I would want to try to keep him around. But another guy on the bubble.
All right, now, Kasey and I talk about this every day. So we're somewhere between, I think you even said yesterday, your floor for this team is 6 wins. Yeah. But if you go around town and you talk to people, you can hear from 6 wins to 11 wins. People are going crazy.
Upset about 11 wins.
Yeah, like people are going crazy in terms of the range for wins with this team. If you had to bet on one number,
oh my goodness,
what would you bet on
9
for the Patriots?
right now?
9
Yeah,
and
it would
8.
be 9 for me. And coming into training camp, I was at 8. And they've shown me enough in training camp that I can say, all right, maybe they'll win 9 and have a winning record. And you look at the last couple of years, as bad as they were in 23 and 24, how many one-possession losses were there? I mean, 10-7 against the Giants, 10-6 against the Colts a couple of years ago. Last year, you lose to Seattle in overtime. You lose to Tennessee in overtime. They're going to win some of those games. They won't win all those one-possession games, but they won't lose them all like they have been the last few years. And the schedule's more favorable. And I just think this team, the top-end talent, is at another level than it was the last couple of years.
Okay, your reasoning was, you said you saw enough in training camp, right?
Yeah.
I want to stay there, but Drake May-centric.
Okay.
I liked what I saw from Drake May in training camp. I like what I saw from him in the practices, in the joint practices. I didn't see enough in the preseason, in my opinion, from Drake May. I saw some mistakes. I saw some good plays, too. But I wanted one more game. Kasey and I talked about this yesterday, where I understand why he didn't play against the Giants, but I felt like I needed a little more from Drake May. You're confident from what you've seen so far from him specifically that you're good with 9 wins? Because I wanted a little bit more. I think he needs more reps.
Yeah, and I was even hoping in that Minnesota game maybe would play the whole first half.
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to play him against the Giants, play that whole first half. And you saw in that Minnesota game, I thought the first drive he was shaky.
He was.
And then the second drive I thought he was a lot better.
He did the same against the Commanders.
Yes.
And I would say in the joint practice against the Commanders, he was better than Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, he was.
And not that Jaden Daniels is bad, but I thought May was better.
He was.
And in the joint practices against the Vikings, and the three of us talked about this last week, that could be the best defense they faced all year. And in day 1 of that, he stood up really well.
Yeah,
and in day 2, it was a little shakier, but from all reports and everyone that was there, it wasn't so much him as it was the O-line. And look, I think if you look at what he had to work on at the end of last year, biggest thing was turnovers. The next biggest thing was hitting the checkdowns and not trying to do too much. I think he's done a much better job hitting checkdowns in training camp, which I know, not a sexy thing, but it helps you win games. I mean, how many times in 25 years have we seen them hit checkdowns and win games? The turnover thing he's going to have to keep working on. He had the bad one against Washington. What I will say in that Washington game, though, bad turnover, how did he respond to it? Well, he led a touchdown drive right after. He responded well. He could have turtled, right? He could have let that snowball on itself. So I like to see that response. And I think if you look at Josh McDaniels' history and take Brady out of it, whether it was with Matt Castle, who hadn't played since high school, in 2016, the combination of Garoppolo and Brissett, 2021 Mac Jones, all young guys.
Yeah, Cam too, right? Cam Newton.
Cam in 2020. But even, I'm thinking those 3 years, because those were all young players, some of them rookies, that he got by the end of those years to play well. I mean, Matt Castle threw for 400 yards in back-to-back games. He's the only Patriots quarterback ever to do that. Brady never did that. Right. You know, he had Mac Jones looking like a rookie of the year in late November, and we know that Mac is not so good, right? So that's where I think you look at, that's my confidence level too. It's the Josh factor. I think, and I do think May has been better. And there's things to work on still, totally, but I think he's been better.
All right.
Sticking with Drake May for a minute, because part of the argument that I think could be made and valid is to start developing confidence and to not make some of those turnovers because of the decisiveness that has to be made in those situations. The offensive line really does, he has to have a little bit more faith in the offensive line in front of him, right? So how much would you pin off to maybe it can be contributed to the offensive line being shaky, and how much is like he's dusting off bad habits while getting situated in a new system?
Yeah, I think it's a great point. It's a collective effort, right? And I've talked about this on EEI, New England Football Journal, as well. Yeah, everyone points to, okay, the left tackle got beaten, the quarterback gets sacked, but it's 5 guys in the protection, but it's also May getting the ball out quick enough, receivers getting open quick enough, the play call in the situation. Like, it's going to be a collective effort for them to succeed in this passing offense. And I think a huge part of it is the offensive line. And look, the offensive line is in a better place than it was a year ago. But
it can't be any worse.
But I think, and that's the point, right? We can't equate they're in a better place to, oh, they're going to be a great offensive line. Right? So they might go from...
There's got to be middle mud there.
Right. They might go from 32nd a year ago to 21st or 22nd, which is a big jump, but then we're still talking about the 21st line in the league, right? Not very good. So I think he'll have some more confidence, but that's going to be a big part of it. In week 1, I mean, we're a couple of weeks away from Max Crosby.
We are.
In week 1. That's not going to be easy.
That's what I keep circling.
And then week 2, you're going, and look, I know the Dolphins have had some issues and they fade at the end of seasons, but you're going there in week 2. That's not going to be easy.
Still hot.
Their first
Steelers
couple of weeks have
week
spoken
3.
for themselves.
It's not going to be... From a protection standpoint, it is not going to be an easy start for them.
I love that you mentioned the factors, too, because I was telling Travis yesterday, we've seen good things and great connections between May and Diggs in practice, so we know where he has confidence in some of these connections, but we didn't see that in the preseason, so that's why I'm not too hung up on, like, not seeing enough from him. I think his reps are coming in practice. I think we have to give him the right timeline and runway to develop as a sophomore quarterback, but that's going to happen throughout the season. We can't expect him to make this massive leap week 1.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to make excuses for him here, but I know you're talking about him as a sophomore quarterback. It's almost like he's in year 1.5. Because you think about it, he only started 26 games at North Carolina. Last year, he only starts 12 games, but if you look at those games, I mean, the Jets game, he doesn't finish because of injury. The Bills game, they pull him at the end of the year. So, I mean, how many, what, he played 10 full games with a staff that all got fired?
Learning a new system, that adds to it.
Exactly. So I think that's why I say I feel better about him in training camp. Am I going to be shocked, though, if in September he has 1 or 2 bad games? No. Does that mean his season is down the drain? No. But I wouldn't, I don't think he's going to come out and they're going to go 3-1 and he's going to look like a top 7 quarterback. I think it's going to take some time. If he can go from where he was last year to top 15 quarterback in the league, again, that's a step forward. Like, that's what this whole year is about. Can they go from being one of the worst teams in the NFL to even average? And I know around here, right, we don't want to hear about average. We don't want to hear about, hey, this team can be just better than it was a year ago. But that would be a step forward. Like, whether we like it or not, that would be a step forward.
In order to be a winning team in 3 years, you've got to be the okay team now.
Yeah, to go from the 4th pick to the 15th pick in the first round would be a huge improvement.
For sure.
Again, it's not the AFC Championship game, but that's the step they're going to have to take.
Patriots, 3-point favorites at home week 1 against the Raiders. You laying the points?
Oh, I'll be there.
You're there?
And that's an uphill battle for the Patriots. I'll tell you
so
that.
you're with Kasey. Kasey's like, that could be upset alert.
I don't want to underestimate the situation.
And frankly, I don't think it would be an upset because I mentioned Max Crosby before, and I know they have a new head coach, new quarterback, Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. Those guys have worked together before, though, in Seattle.
God, you sound like Kasey.
It's not a new combo, and that's a good head. And Ashton Jeanty
I try to steer away from I told you so.
Drive me to the Zachem. Throw me off.
Away from I told you so.
I don't think it would be an upset if the Raiders win that game. I'm not going as far as to pick them yet, but I don't think that would be an upset.
All right, well, when we come back, Jon Lyons and Kasey Hudson will carry the rest of the show. Toby's driving me to the Zachem, and I'm jumping! I am laying the points. Patriots are going to whoop the Raiders. I'm so tired of everyone. Oh, with the Raiders, Max Crosby, Geno, they suck. Well, Max doesn't. Geno sucks.
Actually,
the Patriots are going to blow them out.
I'm like, the last time you... No, never mind.
No, I know. 617-7...
This is not call out your coworker day. Sorry.
617-790-0928. Call us if you want to talk Pats and you agree with Jon and Kasey. You probably do, because no one ever agrees with me, ever. Jon, we appreciate you, bro.
Hey,
thank you, my man. All right, thanks for partying with us here. We're coming right back. Stay with us. More drama between Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft. Yeah, again. We'll talk about it next. Welcome back to Boston has entered the chat. We always say come get involved with us. 617-790-0928. Call us. We need those voicemails. Tweet at us using the hashtag NESSONChat. You can also email us at chat@nesson.com. Travis Thomas, the Kasey Hudson here. And one thing we love here on this show is drama. Here we go again with Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft. Now, generally speaking, I find myself on this show kind of defending Bill Belichick a little bit because it seems like Robert Kraft can't keep Bill's name out of his mouth.
It's happened.
And a lot of times it's just Bill clapping back. And I'm like, hey, give Bill a pass here. Robert started it. Well, in this one, my God. So Ben Volen from the Boston Globe writes this article. We'll get to some excerpts here. He went down to Chapel Hill. He goes to Chapel Hill to talk to Bill, right? Let's get into these quotes. So here's Belichick on getting to coach college football. I enjoy it. I've always wanted to be in college football. I grew up in college football. This is a great university. It's a great opportunity here. Kids are great. Everything's great, Case. They work hard. They want to be good, and they try. Working with a lot of people I like to work with, and I enjoy coming to work every day. That's an important quality of life. Okay, so you're saying you were miserable in the NFL? I'm reading into it a little bit here, but I'm like, all right, at least it's a veiled kind of shot. But then it goes on. Quote, it's much more cohesive. This is a difference between college and the NFL. It's much more cohesive, and I'd say unified view of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it. It's a lot of football, and there's not much in your way. Okay, what are we saying here, Bill? There's no owner. There's no owner's son. There's no cap. Everything that goes with the marketing and everything else, which I'm all for that, but it's less of what it is at that level. Generic NFL teams. You have the owner, president, GM, personnel director, college director, pro director, cap guy, some other consultant, then the head coach. I'd say when we had our best years in New England, we had fewer people and more of a direct vision. As that expanded, it became harder to be successful. This goes back to control. Everything goes back to control with this guy.
Yeah.
And my thing is like, okay, the first quotes we read you, they're a little more veiled.
Right.
And Robert Kraft could read it and feel a type of way, but it's not obvious.
Yeah, it doesn't jump off the page.
That second paragraph, you're taking shots, and it's direct. And I'm just like, Bill, what are you doing, bro? Like,
why?
You're all about control, right? You got ran out of town in the end because you were too controlling, and you were controlling this franchise into the ground, torpedo style, right? Yep. No one hired you in the NFL. When he interviewed with the Falcons, and it was close that he was getting hired, remember the rumors were that Robert Kraft was like, you don't want to hire this guy. And also, they didn't like that he was so controlling. He wanted so much control.
Yeah.
So you don't get an NFL job. You go to college where you can control everything. Your whole staff is your family and people that you know. Like, this is always about control with this guy. I don't know why he's almost out of body here. Like, well, that's how they did it in New England. I didn't want to do that. Bro, you're all about this. What are you talking about?
Seriously. And just the way that he tried to basically be like, there's more bodies involved here with making things work. This is not something that you are new to, for one. And for two, you can't fully say that college isn't somewhat heading in a similar direction. So no, you don't have an owner and all these other mouthpieces to respond to. But when you talk about marketing and you're okay with that, you're not going to have as much control because we're seeing Dabo. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah, Dabo.
Dabo. We are seeing how he's trying to hold on to the reins for dear life because of where college football is heading, because of the NIL, because of the transfer portal. It's creating so much mess. There are layers to this now unveiling of where college football is going that's so simultaneous with some of the madness in the NFL. So just the way that, it went from, I'm good with college football. I love college football. This is where it started for me.
Yeah, nostalgic.
Don't try to make it nostalgic, but then tie the bow of, I'm in control here and nobody can say anything.
Sure.
I wasn't appreciative of that.
Look, I'm looking at UNC's schedule right now. Look, the season openers, TCU, now they are at home, Chapel Hill there, but TCU's likely going to win that game, okay? Couple weeks later, you go to the bounce house, you go to UCF, we'll see, and then that following week, you play Clemson. You're going to get smoked. He's got some... He better focus on football. It's funny because this is the same guy.
I'm not a fan of Scott Frost's system and stuff, but they were an effective team.
Yes, and that place is a tough place to win.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen UCF knock off big-time teams, and UNC ain't there yet.
Right.
But they've knocked off big-time teams in their house. Mm-hmm. So that's a tough place to win. That's what I'm saying. From a football standpoint, I still can't get used to this version of Bill Belichick, who forever was like, don't be a distraction, on to the next game, one play at a time. Now you have a young girlfriend all up in everybody's business.
You're through every headline.
You're taking shots at Robert Kraft here. You're doing that. This isn't you clapping back. This is you starting.
And you're claiming a calmer atmosphere, which is clearly getting more crunk. If the transfer portal went berserk for UNC right now, how would he manage something like that?
Well,
and still be able to keep his locker room?
I'm just looking at the schedule. You have bigger fish to fry, my friend, because this schedule's not easy for UNC. And I get it's a basketball school, but the expectations now are high because of you. You're Bill Belichick. Of course, everyone there is like, okay, we're going to a bowl. Let's go. Get us in the playoff. Do something. Bill, you got to chill, man. I defended him when he has defended himself. In this one, he's sending shots at Robert Kraft.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, turn the page. And
just
get to the season. The amount of things that have revolved around him not even touching the season yet, it's just if I was him, I'd really keep my mouth shut until things get moving along. And that is the typical Bill Belichick that we're used to seeing, and it's worthy of defense.
I'm sure if I'm an alumni, I was really hyped when they hired him. Mm-hmm. By now, I'm still thankful to have the GOAT coaching my college team. But I'm probably rolling my eyes a little at some of this stuff. The girlfriend, the constant shots between him and Robert Kraft. It's just too much. Bill, you're a distraction, bro. You! 617-790-0928. Get in here if you want to talk Belichick and Kraft drama or anything else with us. That's it for us here on Nesson, but the party continues on Nesson Nation. Roll with us there. Boston has entered the chat on a Friday, baby. Yeah!